recently recalled a part of my life in a different way than it seemed when I lived it. It didn't seem like I performed any grand gesture, but... well, let me start at the beginning. I have a friend. He's an orphan. He jumped from foster family to foster family, and he got expelled from school for having a knife on him. As soon as he could, he got out of the foster care system and started couch surfing. He got his GED, but career prospects where I'm from are never particularly great, even with a bachelor's degree. He had no car, no money, no real place to call home. And when he could find a job, he relied on friends to drive him to and from work. He was a friend of a friend at first. I didn't really get to know him until we started playing Dungeons and Dragons together. He taught me the basics, and I took him through a 2.5-year campaign. It's hard not to become friends after that. He had been staying with a friend of mine for a few months before he got kicked out, as always happened eventually. He was always an intruder, and parents could only put up with an intruder like that for so long. This time when it happened, he asked if he could stay with me at my parents' house. We became roommates. He slept on my floor. I was in college at the time and working a part-time job. He had a lead on a more full-time job, so we went in to apply together as security guards. We got the jobs. Me, living at home, going to college, and now pulling 2 jobs, him focusing completely on his one job. He had no car, so I gave him rides to work when I could, but we worked different hours, and as I said, I was also in college and working another job, so I wasn't always available. Sometimes my parents had to provide him rides to and from work. We tried to find a more permanent solution to this problem. He needed a driver's license and he needed a car. I couldn't help with the latter, but I did let him use my car to get his license. It was a start. In the end, though, my parents got tired of taking care of this guy who wasn't part of our family. I argued and fought to let him stay, but in the end it was their house. One day I came home from work and he was gone, forced to move on. He's in a good place now, though, and has been for several years. He has a vehicle, has a job, pays his own rent, and though I'm sure he'd hate the label, he's a responsible and productive member of society now. When I step back and look at it, I took a homeless person into my home, providing shelter and safety for a time, helping them to find a job and setting them on the road to independence. Set him on the road to no longer being homeless. It's weird to think of it in those terms, to think that I had a permanent positive effect on someone's life. Not to overstate my impact, I wasn't the first person to help him or the last, and I should make it absolutely clear. Nothing I did would have mattered if my friend didn't have the will and the perseverance to become independent. He earned his independence. I don't think I ever told him how proud I am of him, that he kept going long after I was no longer able to help. Still, it's interesting to think about the effect we have on the people around us. How we know sometimes when we do a good deed, but we rarely look back and see the full effect of those good deeds over time. It's humbling, and it reminds me that every good deed makes a difference. That's what I've been thinking about lately. Thanks for watching. See you next time.